As I mentioned before, there are 6 accommodation pods. Look at these things. They're really, really cool. And each one of them is self-contained. And they've done a really neat thing. They've actually gave them, each one of them, a very space-themed name. This is Shenzhou. I think we have a Genesis and an Apollo. But yeah, it's a nice little touch. But these pods were actually designed to be moved, and they've been put onto these huge sleds. And that is so that at the end of the summer season, they can be attached to a big piece of machinery and moved on to a completely different part of the glacier. And then the winter will come through, all of this will be covered in snow, and it'll be literally like these things were never here. It is the definition of leave no trace. Now, we have to be very careful when we're walking around here, because we are on literally a block of ice. And the other day, my poor cameraman, Ben, fell and cracked his head. Always happens to you, Ben, I'm sorry. But as you can see, the power is supplied by these solar panels. And also, there's a little kind of unassuming pipe back here. But it's very, very important because it's actually part of the heating system. And we are in Antarctica, so it does get cold. So yeah, each one of them is modular, which is good. Let's just have a little. Which is good because they can actually be configured. They can be made bigger or smaller, or they can put glass pines in where they want to, which is a really neat feature. It keeps everything really flexible. So let's go inside and have a look. Welcome to my humble abode. Now, I think it's safe to say that the continent of Antarctica has never seen anything quite as luxurious as this. I mean, look at this. The bed has white, clean, crisp linens. There's actually electrical outlets in every pod, and it even has its own heating system. And wow, look at this amazing view. Wow. Now, I was asked the question before I came down here. If the sun is in the sky 24 hours a day, how do you go to sleep at night? And the way they've answered that here is that they've taken these heavy blankets, inserted magnets, so that the magnets attach themselves to the frames in between the window panes, just like that. Now, when the sun shines through these windows, it's very efficient because it heats the pod. But sometimes, even although the sun's in the sky, it's cloudy, the visibility is low, there's no heat coming through the panels. And that is when the efficient Webasto German heating system kicks in right here. And basically hot air comes up through these vents and is recirculated. Again, very, very efficient. Now, each pod has its own ensuite bathroom, but unlike the decontamination chamber, there is no running water in here. So the staff comes in every day, fills this flask with hot water so that you can wash up and brush your teeth. Now, another question that I was asked before I came down here was, how do you go to the bathroom and what happens to it? Well, traditionally, they'd go to the bathroom, they'd put it in barrels, and they'd throw it down a crevasse, which, let's be honest, is not very environmental now, is it? But you can have a sewage system here, because the sewage would freeze, and that would be a disaster for everyone. So they've come up with a couple of really cool ideas to take care of that. So when it comes to liquid waste, in essence, what you have here is just a little mini porta potty. So you go to the bathroom here, you pull this lever and it flushes into the chamber below. The staff come every day and take it out. Now, when it comes to the solid waste, it's a little different, and it's quite an advanced system. What happens is you go to the bathroom, the solid waste is then surrounded by this silver foil, which comes up and wraps itself very tightly around. You know what? I think it's easier if I just show you. Now, because this system is so advanced, it's actually really expensive. In fact, every time you flush this toilet, it costs about $5 US. So Patrick, I'm really sorry, but for the sake of education for our viewers, I'm going to flush this toilet and literally, I guess, flush $5 down the toilet. So let's see how this works. So you would go to the bathroom, the solid waste is there. It's completely wrapped up, held together. Wow, look at that. And then it's ready to go again. Now, that's not the end of the journey. All of that waste is collected, solid and liquid, put on an aeroplane, and literally flown first class to a whole other continent. In fact, it goes to Cape Town, South Africa, where it is very sustainably disposed. Now, everything here at White Desert had to be flown in, everything you see had to be flown in, had to be assembled, and part of the agreement that they are here and operating is that when they do leave, they have to disassemble everything, put it all on an airplane, and take it all out, leaving no indication that they were ever here. And that is the true definition of leave no trace.